Panther couldn't get it. Sally gets it out. Steve Kerr open three. Yeah. Kerr for three.
Hey guys, this is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
Hello and good day everyone, how's it going? My name is Sean David and I welcome you to your weekly dose of old school NBA basketball. In today's episode, I would like to take a look at NBA legends talking about Steve Kerr, the player. Now, obviously, we all know that Steve Kerr nowadays is a very successful NBA coach, but back in the 1990s, obviously, he played for the Bulls, he played for the Cavs, he played for the Orlando Magic and the San Antonio Spurs. So let's take a look. But before we start with that, let's take a quick look at the sponsor of today's episode. Today's video is brought to you by Skillshare. Skillshare has thousands of online classes and members in more than 150 countries. You can find the subject you're interested in, unlock more creativity, get inspired to put your new skills to work in an impactful way. My favorites are videos of Elise, who helps marketing brands with videos and who helped me reaching new audiences with her classes. She explained perfectly how to reach people with 1-minute videos through engaging stories. Now, more and more people are creating their own careers, and Skillshare is the perfect way to start yours. The first 1,000 people to click on the link in the description box will get 1 month free trial of Skillshare. So honestly, you got nothing to lose. So what are you waiting for? Start your creative journey with Skillshare today. Now, the first player's opinion that I want to take a look at is from Rasheed Wallace, obviously a great power forward back in the 1990s and the 2000s, and this guy was super talented, and he played with Kerr for the Portland Trail Blazers, so let's take a look what he has to say.
Steve Kerr was always a dangerous shooter. He said, I'm a white boy, I can't jump, I ain't that athletic, but he said, I can shoot. And what I focus on is the rim. He said, you focus on that rim, focus on that back part of that rim, and you won't even notice the defender coming at you. And you know, it does help in some situations. As I got older, you know, my vertical and all that shit wasn't as high. So that's when it kicked in for me. Because now it's like, okay, I can't just depend on me sitting up here jumping over a motherfucker. So now let me go ahead, get that early one going, boom, knock it down. Okay, thanks, Steve. It was fun though. It was cool. Steve Kerr, cool dude.
This team is one. Our leadership is strong, positive, very determined, and it filters down to the rest of the players. And we never let anybody give up.
So do you two even remember the first time you met each other or what you thought of each other?
Man, I don't want to hear this.
Oh, wow. I mean, when I first met him, I was playing against him, obviously, but I saw him as just a small guy. He was known as a shooter, but he was a lot more than that once I was able to get to know him and we became teammates. I could always rely on this guy to help me get close to a triple-double.
I appreciate you being nice. That was a good answer.
And the next player's opinion that we're going to take a look at is from Michael Air Jordan, who obviously played with Steve Kerr for the Chicago Bulls. Let's take a look.
So one day at practice, Phil put Steve Kerr guarding me.
We were on opposite sides in a scrimmage, and he's talking all kinds of trash, and I'm pissed because, we're getting our ass kicked.
Phil sensed my aggression, but he was trying to tone me down, and he starts calling these tick-attack fouls. Now I'm getting mad because for you to be protecting this guy, it's not gonna help us when we play New York. It's not gonna help us when we play these teams that are very physical. Next time he did it, I just hauled off the and I said, when I fouled Steve Kerr, I said, now that's a foul.
I have a lot of patience as a human being, but I tend to snap at some point because I'm extremely competitive too. Just not really good enough to back it up usually, but I'm going. I'm gonna fight.
He hauls off and hits me in the chest, and I just haul off and hit him right in the eye. And Phil just throws me out of practice.
We've seen the video before too of the huddle beforehand.
If he comes off, I'll be ready.
Take me through that. And again, you talk about big stages where Kenny's talking about hitting all those threes. Game on the line in the NBA Finals, and it was your moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's been replayed on NBA TV several times, so I always have the TiVo ready and gather the family around. No, I mean, you know what? That's the moment that every kid dreams of, and to actually have lived it is pretty incredible. But, you know, I didn't have a great series, but I was having a decent game. I just made a few shots in the fourth, so I was feeling pretty good. And Michael was always looking ahead to what was next. He was always kind of envisioning the next play, and he said during the timeout, he said, Stockton's going to come double team me, so be ready. And I looked way more confident in that shot than I really was. I was like, oh my God, okay. But I just said, you know what, just fire away. And that's the best advice anybody ever gave me was, don't think, shoot. You know, as soon as you start thinking, that's when you miss. And I just made up my mind, if I got the ball, I was gonna shoot, and luckily it went in.
Here's Kerr for three. Yes! Steve Kerr. The game is tied at 71. Jim changes by. Good decision. Kerr with another three. Yes! Right now, Dallas doesn't want to double because this man has been killing it. Kerr again! Steve Kerr with another three. A heroic performance by Steve Kerr.
Right now, we have to know, Steve Kerr, our favorite game on the jump, what were you thinking? And I got to start with the comeback that you led with Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan on the bench against the Mavericks. 1997, Phil Jackson said the starters aren't playing well. I'm going to bench these guys. You scored 20 points in that game, including 12 in the fourth quarter.
I
don't even remember this?
I have no memory of this game.
This is amazing. How do you not remember this? Look at you.
Look at the athleticism of Scottie. Scottie loved it.
These guys were cheering. Michael and Scottie were going crazy for you.
You must have dug deep to find that box score.
We really, look, we try, man. We try on this thing. 6, and we saw Michael Jordan giving you a little chat beforehand. Can you take us through what was going on there?
Well, this looks like the same game, the Dallas game. All right, so here we go.
Okay. Yeah, they're a little bit behind.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Well, my first question is, what was I thinking with that haircut? I mean, the biggest moment of my career, and I have the worst haircut.
Portland will send Steve Smith to San Antonio in exchange for Derek Anderson and Steve Kerr.
One of the options was trading him, and when you make a trade these days, you have to match it up with salaries, and I was thrown in on top just to make it work.
You know, we were teammates 3 years later in Portland, which was really fun.
Steve Kerr come on the floor for Chicago. Goes back on top, Steve Kerr for three. Kerr open for three.
I had to wait. I didn't feel as comfortable shooting the shot because I wasn't sure what he was thinking when he was going to give it to me. Like when Steve, I think knowing that Michael said he looked for you, that made you say, okay, I have to be ready.
You know, and you have to, and it's a really hard thing to do to get yourself in that mindset, because what happens if you miss? Well, they're going to write about it. The fans are going to talk about it, talk radio, all that stuff. You know, these days there's even more, media outlets. So there's so much pressure, and somehow you have to kind of filter that out and say, you know what? I don't care if I miss.
I think we have a sense of connection because of the way our fathers tragically died, and I didn't really know that until maybe a couple of years ago. And he seems to have utilized that in a very positive way, and that's something that I thrive upon, is the education of knowing my father when he taught me and how to pursue that and move on in life and pass it on to our kids. And I think it's very evident that he does the same thing, and he's a great teammate to have.
You know, back in the days, I always liked Steve Kerr. And I'm not only talking about his great personality, but as a player, I always had a thing for guys who weren't physically as gifted as most of the players, but who had great fundamentals. And if you take a careful look at the way how Steve Kerr played back in the days, it was always super smart in terms of always being in the right position, always a guy who really gave 100% on the floor, a great shooter, still until this day, percentage-wise, the greatest shooter of all time. So Steve Kerr, this episode was for you. And to you guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. So don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll see you next time on the Basketball Time Machine.
It just felt like the end, but we found a way to He had it done